We often find when we're in a strategic position in an organisation, or we have to find a way of promoting a vision, or meeting or reaching an objective, or finding an outcome for something, whether that be at a senior or a middle or a junior level. What often happens is that we begin to consider the way that we're going to address the problem and get caught up in dealing with the obstacles that are thrown up in the process of that activity. Now, there are always going to be obstacles, and that's inevitable. And we can't go through even a small part of any process without having to engage with various obstacles that will come up. And they might be external ones, they might be internal ones related to organizational processes and practices and things like that. But whatever they are, we have to make decisions about how we're going to address those problems or those challenges that we're faced with in that situation, because they are simply a part of life. And the same thing applies to personal life as well. Now, if we set out to achieve a particular objective, or if we set out to get a particular outcome, we have a choice when obstacles come up of two things. Either we can change the outcome or the objective. We can say, well, there's this obstacle, so instead of doing what I wanted to do, I'm going to do this instead. Or we can look for ways of overcoming or working around the obstacle. There's nothing wrong with finding a workaround in some situations. What makes the difference as to what decision we make is our conviction about whether or not we're doing the right thing. If the obstacle that is in our way is one that we feel, well, actually, that's too much, I'm going to have to go a different way, I'm going to have to do a different thing, or I'm going to have to modify my objective, it calls into question how convinced we were that what we were trying to do in the first place was the right thing. And so we need to take a step back before we encounter obstacles, before we even begin to plan out our direction. We just say, what is the thing that I am aiming to do the right thing? Is it actually what is right for me, or for the organisation, or for the people around me, or so on? Now, in an education context, obviously, most of our decisions, if not all our decisions, are dictated by what is best for the students. And in addition to that, remembering that usually what is best for the students is going to be determined by what we think is best for our staff. Happy staff, staff that are working well, staff that are not overloaded, staff that are encouraged and supported to do their best, will provide an education which means that we will have well educated, well supported, happy students. So starting from the point of view of saying, is this the right thing? If it's the right thing, then no number of obstacles should ever be able to dissuade us from doing the right thing. Doing the right thing for our students, doing the right thing for our staff. If we keep that in mind, then whenever we meet an obstacle, we should always be looking at it from the point of view of saying, okay, so what can I do to overcome this obstacle without compromising my destination, without compromising the outcome that I want to see? If we're not convinced that what we're doing is the right thing, then it's always going to be preferable to us. We're always going to say, that's too hard, let's do something else. So the key to setting our vision, setting our goals, setting our destination, our direction for any organization or in our personal lives is to be utterly convinced that what we are doing is the right thing, and that will prevent us from deferring to simply take the path of least resistance.